Welcome back to the channel, guys. Hope you are doing extremely well, and this is a very own mascot at this side. In this video we are going to discuss the question 452 of LEETCODE, which is minimum number of arrows to burst balloons. Okay, what does the question says? The question says that you have been provided an xy plane, right? This is a y-axis and this is your x-axis, right? Something side of this, right? Now the there are some balloons, right? And they are sticking up in the xy plane, something like this, right? This is your balloons, these are your balloons, right? Now you have not been provided with the coordinates of the center. You don't know the coordinates of the center, but you do know what is the starting point of this diameter and ending point of the diameters, right? If I draw a tangent from something like this, right, you know what is the point here, 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 point here, right? Starting and ending point of the diameters, right? The diameters caused by the tangent which are perpendicular to the x-axis or parallel to the y-axis, right? Okay, now you know this point. For example, the given examples is 10, 16, 2, 8, 1, 6 and 7, 12. So my parameters are, let me not draw the x-axis and y-axis again. I will just draw it 10 to 16, 2 to 8, that is it will lie 2 here and 8 will also be smaller. 1, 6, that is 1 will lie something here and 6 will lie something here, right? 7, 12, that is 7 up till 12. These are your balloons, right? You can draw balloons with the diameter considering all of them as endpoints. Now you have the provision to stand on x-axis at any point. You can stand on x-axis at any point and you can shoot an arrow up. Right? In this journey, the arrow may coincide with any number of balloons, right? Any number of balloons. Whichever arrows go through any of the balloons, it will burst it. You have to tell me minimum number of arrows to burst all balloons. To burst all balloons, right? Okay. Now, how will I move this? So, instead of visualizing here, it will be easier to visualize in the downward, right? I assume so. Okay. Now, if suppose this is my x-axis, I can stand on any point. Now, the basic intuition behind solving this problem is my arrow should go through maximum balloons. Why? So as to minimize number of arrows, minimize the number. You just have to understand this. See, like you have heard the Hindi proverb like ek tir se do nishane, right? So what is that doing? It is actually taking out two balloons with only one arrow. So more the number of balloons I can take with a single arrow, less is the number of arrows I will have to use. That is my approach here. Now, how can I find a point from where I should release the arrow? For that, I will use something known as overlap. So if in the given figure, these are the balloons, right? These are the diameters of the balloon. The arrow should have to go from something like this, right? Now, how will I solve it? I can see that 1, 6 and 2, 8 have something in common. This parameter is common. Similarly, this parameter is common. Right? Okay. So if you can see that maximum overlap is like this interval has 2, this interval has 2, this interval has 2, right? So I can choose either of them because all of them has two balloons. All of the intervals have two balloons. Let us go with this one. So if I put an arrow here, right, this is eliminated. I have taken one arrow up till now. Now what are left? This contains 1, this contains 2 because this has been eliminated. So this is actually becomes 7 to 12 and 10 to 16. This interval is getting 2 and this interval is getting 1. So what I will do is I will insert an arrow here. Second arrow, and after this arrow, this is also eliminated, and my answer is done. I will require 2 arrows for the minimum. Okay. Now, how will I get it? That what is the overlap? So you are saying it with me. If you are saying it with the word overlap with me, you are already the answer. We have already studied about a question overlap. That is not easy. That is not very similar to it. But yeah, you will get an idea. Overlapping intervals. Right? I got an idea from that I can use that intervals, right? So what was the first condition of overlapping intervals? To sort. I will say, okay, I will also sort. So what were the arrays given to me? If I am sorting it, it will become 1 to 6, 7 to 12, 10 to, so 1 to 6, 2 to 8, 7 to 12, and 10 to 16, right? These are my arrays, 10 to 16, 2 to 8, right? Now, if after sorting, this becomes this. Now what will I do? I will start from here with 1 comma 6. I will start from here. Now this has to be bursted. This has to be bursted, and for this to be bursted, 1 comma 6, my arrow should be released from any point between 1 comma 6, right? Between 1 comma 6. Now I will try to take as many possible with it, as many volumes possible with it. For that, I will find the overlapping intervals. Overlapping intervals, right? That is why I sorted it. So 1 comma 6, when encountered with 2 comma 8, if I try to find the overlap between them, it is pretty evident it is 2 comma 6, right? 2 comma 6, these two have an overlapping interval of 2 comma 6. 2 comma 6 with 7 comma 12, what is the overlapping interval here? It will be nothing. 2 comma 6 doesn't have an overlapping interval with 7 comma 12. So I will say I will burst these two balloons with any range in 2 comma 6. I can use any point for 2 comma 6, right, between the 2 comma 6, and burst these two balloons. Moving on, 7 comma 12, my interval is 7 comma 12 right now, and I will have to find the overlap with 10 comma 16. So if I try to find an overlap, it will be 10 to 12. If I burst any arrow from any range between 10 to 12, I can burst these two out, and my answer will be 2. My answer will be 2. That is the only case I am treating. I will find the overlapping intervals. I will find the overlaps. So what will I do? I will first sort, let us say array has been given to you, array dot begin with array dot size. I am actually writing the pseudocode now, right? Now I will say my I is 0 while I is less than n, which is the size of the array. I will say my first interval is my overlapping interval is my only interval, right? Because this is the only interval I want. So interval equals to array of I, right? Now I will start with j equals to I plus 1, and I will start finding the overlaps. Now if array of j of 0, that is the left. See, when do I find an overlap? Suppose this is my interval, I can only find an overlap. This is my left, this is my right. That will say left one, right one, right? And another interval is L2, R2. I can only find an overlap if this L2, see, L1 is always less than equals to L2 because of the sort. This was the main assumption of the sort, that L1 is always less than equals to L2, right? If they have an overlapping, then L2 will be at least lying on L1 or before it. So if array J0 is less than equals to intervals of right one, that is right one, in that case I have an overlap. So what will I do to find an overlap? So suppose my L2 is here, my R2 is here. So what is my interval now? Because interval is actually carrying my overlap. So intervals 0, that is interval left, will become this value L2, because I have to find an overlap. This is my overlap, right? So it will be L2, I can say L2. And what will be my right one? So my R1 can be here, with the aligned with the R2, my R1 can be here, right? In all the cases I have to find the minimum. If R2 is minimum or R1 is minimum, so it will be minimum of R1 and R2, right? And then I will say answer plus equals to 1, and I will move my I to j, right? This is the only approach, and I will say return answer. I'm not saying this is the only approach. There might be some other approaches possible, right? But I find it very easy to visualize. It is very easy to visualize. Not able, like, it is not easy to code, I think, but it is very easy to visualize. And once you have visualized any code, any algorithm, it is very easy to code if you are a good programmer, right? So I hope that is fine with you, and let us move to the coding section now. Alright guys, so here we are on the coding section. Now before starting to code, I would like to request you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button as much as possible, right? So our first step was to sort the given vector. So points dot begin up till points dot end, right? Let me take the size also. So int n equals to points dot size. Now my int I equals to 0 for the starting interval, and my answer is equals to 0. Now my while I is less than n. What is my interval? I will take vector of interval, let us name it as inter only, as points of I 0 with points of I 1. Now I will make my j as int j equals to I plus 1. Now while my points of j is 0, is less than equals to my interval 1. In that case, there is an overlap. So I will update my interval according to that. So my inter 1 will become points j0. You can also add a max operator here for the better visualization. It will be 1, sorry, it will be 1. That is my starting pointer. And inter 1 will become minimum of existing inter 1 with points of j1. Right? After that, I will increment my answer because I've used an arrow between this interval after this while loop ends. And I will also say j is less than n so that I don't run into a segmentation fault. And my I will become j. Now I will just return my answer. This is the whole code you have to write. Let us try to compile and run it. Hope it will work fine. In the meantime, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the like button. So there has been some mistake. Oh, I have not incremented j. So j plus plus. Let us try to compile and run it now. Sorry for my silly mistake, guys. It has been accepted. Let us try it for submit as well. Hope it will get submitted for the backend test case. Okay, it has been submitted. And thank you for watching. Have a nice day. We'll meet again with a new video. And if you have any special demand on any LeetCode question, please comment it down. I will surely bring out the video for that. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.